Pop Rally, thank you very much for that super chat. NSO played out. Jimmy worked it. And a Ben played out. Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikai Says Sukas. And of course, as always, I'm your humble host, Niko House. Of course, if you want to support the show, you can either become a Rockfin Premium member, or you can become a Patreon member, or donate to us through Cash App. Or of course, you can click on that Linktree link below. And if you want to follow us on all of our other social media and video platforms, of course, you can click on that Linktree link in the description below as well. All support is, of course, helpful and necessary to help us keep growing this great network of ours. Y'all, it's been a crazy couple of days. I guess we should just start from the beginning, right? We should just start from the beginning. Jimmy Dore made a very commonsensical suggestion to AOC and other progressives in Congress, which is just withhold your vote for Nancy Pelosi until she guarantees that we will take Medicare for all to the floor for a vote. I felt like when he said this, I don't know why. I guess I was just naive that day. Usually I'm not like that stupid to believe that people won't react to common sense, especially when it's come out of Jimmy's mouth, like the way that we've seen. But once again, that was my bad. I gave these people much more credit than they deserve. When Jimmy suggested this, people got upset. They got upset because Jimmy asked the progressives that have 9 million followers, 3 million followers, the progressives that have the ability and the mandate to raise like $18 million for their primary elections and their general elections. You know, the progressives who can appear on the cover of Vanity Fair in a multi-$1,000 outfit. You know, the same progressive who's on Instagram every day going live about something new, about how we should fight. The same progressives who will sell shirts talking about be courageous and then completely lack any iota of courage. They were mad because he asked those progressives to do their damn job in the middle of a pandemic. Fight for healthcare in the middle of a pandemic. I thought that y'all didn't like Nancy Pelosi as it is. I thought that we were under like at least, you know, as far as like progressives go. Now we already know we got the progressive movement and we got the Neoprogressive movement, which is a term I coined to describe people like Anna, Ben Dixon, Sam Cedar, Jank, etc., David Pakman, etc. But at least I thought that we were all under the agreement. Nobody likes Nancy Pelosi, and her being Speaker of the House has literally been a net negative, even if you're not a progressive. Just as a Democrat, it's been a net negative for y'all. Even as Joe Biden won the election, she still managed to lose seats in the House. They still, of course, managed to lose seats in the Senate. And they're still talking about, well, we can't risk, you know, Nancy Pelosi getting, you know, not getting Speaker of the House. What the hell are you risking? Exactly. And that's what Jimmy's point is. You aren't risking anything. The progressive policies, if she's not going to bring a healthcare bill to the floor in the middle of a pandemic, you're not going to get anything that's actually progressive brought to the floor at any point in the next 2 to 4 years. I felt like this was an obvious conclusion. I mean, that's what I thought. Apparently, people, it's not as obvious as most of us would think. And of course, people like AOC herself, Anna Kasparian, Ben Dixon, and others had a problem with this. And we're not going to go through literally everything because that would take entirely too long. But what we is going to do, we going to cover some main things and we going to talk about this because this is wild. I was like floored at the revealing of the true character of many of these people that a lot of people praise and kiss the ass of. And we saw a lot of stuff that happened in 2019 when people talking about who the real progressives are, right? Woo, boy. 2019 seems so far away, don't it? So let's go ahead and get down to it. Let's check out some of the stuff that Anna was saying about Jimmy. Attacking AOC is more of his branding exercise than anything else. Isn't AOC literally a brand? Like, and mind you, Jimmy didn't attack AOC, didn't attack her. Literally asked her to push a referendum and use the progressive mandate that you have to get something done. Because at the very bare minimum, you learn one of two things. Either it gets done, hallelujah. I mean, obviously, most of us aren't expecting that. Or it doesn't get done even when progressives unite, and then y'all can go goddamn nuclear on the Democratic establishment and have votes on record of Democrats and Republicans alike voting against healthcare in the middle of a pandemic. It is not. Okay. This is literally the point of a mandate. That's literally the point of having a mandate. So that, especially for progressives in Congress, because we know that we don't have the numbers necessarily to get things done, except for in this particular situation, we have the numbers to block Nancy Pelosi from getting a vote. And you got a mandate to get the support of like almost the entire left. Like, I'm not talking about the Democrats, I'm talking about real left. And yet they're choosing. And the reason that AOC won't do it is because of what? To protect her brand. The reason Anna Kasparian won't get behind it is because of what? To protect her brand. You know, if Anna got behind this, Albright might not like it that much. So she got to be careful. We know that she ain't Albright like this. So let's see what else she had to say about this. It's one thing to debate strategies with lawmakers like AOC should take. My issue with Dore is that I don't believe he says anything in good faith. Well, that's a good place to operate from. So in other words, you're not even trying to engage him on the substance, and you're not questioning anything AOC does based off of literally nothing. You don't know her. Like, and if you do, that probably explains a lot. But let's continue. It's incredible to witness his rage-filled demands of some lawmakers while he refused to hold Tulsi accountable for anything. Oh my God, bruh. How in the actual, is Tulsi gonna be there in January, y'all? Is Tulsi gonna be there in January? No, she isn't, just in case you're curious. She's done with Congress, like much of us, like most of us. And either way, bro. So you're so desperate to try and attack Jimmy that you literally bring Tulsi into a conversation that has nothing to do with nothing. Zero at all. Like zero. Has zero to do with Tulsi, this entire conversation, bro. And that's not true. That's actually a lie. That like Jimmy had Tulsi on her show when she decided to drop out and endorse Biden and grilled her pretty hard. And when Tulsi was, you know, at times giving her political answer, doing what politicians do, Jimmy pushed her again and again. And like this, you need to help me square this circle, because if you stand for this, why would you endorse someone who stands for everything but that? Which is Joe Biden. So like that's not true. I don't know where this myth is that Tulsi supporters don't hold her accountable. Like, the only reason I was one of her surrogates is because of a video, like a 20-minute video that I did, literally holding her accountable for a statement she made on Syria and Venezuela. In fact, to my understanding, unless someone has proof otherwise, I was the only surrogate in the entire presidential election who was allowed to openly critique my candidate, even on other people's shows, even in the middle of debates, with not a single complaint. In fact, it was welcome. That's because that's how Tulsi, as a candidate should, grew, was from learning from the people who support her. Jimmy criticized her as well. Fiorella and Pasta criticized her as well. I don't know where this myth comes from, but the myth probably comes from the fact that, like, let's be real, Anna never really watches Jimmy. She just attacks him because she sees he's popular at that point, and God forbid anybody listens to anybody but Anna Kasparian. If you do that, then like, You're a grifter. And let's be clear about one thing. Anna, bro, Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren. Remember when you spent an entire election caping for Elizabeth Warren? You know, she wrote that song. The called the snake slide. I don't know if y'all know about that. Y'all ain't hear about that dance? Right foot up, his slide. Left foot up, his slide. Basically, I'm saying I ain't taking either side. You remember Elizabeth Warren? Y'all remember her? Y'all was doing the dance, and you and Emma were just in that. Y'all remember? Y'all remember? Remember you were like, oh man, she's so progressive. Oh my god. Oh, Tulsi ain't progressive, but Elizabeth Warren is. See, once again, the difference between the two is Tulsi makes mistakes as a human being. Elizabeth Warren was playing your ass from the very beginning. You and Emma said that Fiorella was lying, that she had transferred $10 million in corporate money to her presidential campaign account after promising to not take any corporate money in her presidential campaign account. Attacked her for, remember, Emma was almost in tears. It was like hilarious. I mean, she's always something like she's about to be in tears, but that's not the point. But my point is, you pretended like you didn't know who Elizabeth Warren was the entire election until it became so obvious that you had to, because she was falling off, and you had to defend Bernie, because like that's your cash cow. That eventually, after she said the worst possible thing she could say, which is anything about Bernie, that's when you start jumping on the, oh shit, I guess we better call Elizabeth Warren train. Except for she has been obvious. Like the woman pretended to be Native American so she could make money. Bro, listen, y'all, listen, Anna's racist. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know at what point do people maybe it's because I'm black. So a lot of the things that she does, I internalize differently and I see it differently. But when you can love and celebrate and idolize a woman who pretended to be indigenous to make money and then subsequently throws the indigenous under the bus, and then hate the woman who went to Standing Rock, hate the woman who put her career on the line for Bernie Sanders, hate the woman who didn't avoid independent media. There is something wrong with you, and it is clearly something that has nothing to do with policy, nothing to do with politics. It's deeper than that. And people are noticing. North American Ape, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Imagine thinking making a stand for Medicare for all during a pandemic is a bad idea. These goofballs are really showing their bad hand. It's embarrassing. Yes, it is freaking embarrassing. And guess what? It is about to get worse because we're going to move on to the next tweet, y'all. Huh? What was the one before that? Did I miss another one? Oh, sorry. Ruben Massaguay, what's going on, man? Not sure what to think of Sirota anymore. Okay, so once again, I'm going to show you how to get it. It goes right foot up, his slide. Left foot up, his slide. Basically, I'm saying Warren ain't taking no sides. If you supported Warren, it was for no reason other than your career. And that has become painfully evident. You can take that for what it is. But Sirota is right on a lot of issues. But what did Maya Angelou say? That courage is the most important virtue, because without courage, you will never consistently practice any other virtue, especially when it matters the most. Courage, Elizabeth Warren and courage. Supporting Elizabeth Warren displays a lack of courage. That's the only way you can identify and relate to somebody like her. Because it's basically you saying, this is the most that the establishment will accept. And I know she's corrupt, but I really want to make sure I secure my way into the establishment's good graces while still maintaining the image of being an actual progressive. So, Jimmy's response. Yep, The moderate rebels, Ben Norton, Max Blumenthal, basically the crew from good God, Grey Zone, did a little video and said the Young Turks and Jacobin magazine host Anna Kasparian claims Jimmy Dore is a bad faith actor for criticizing Saint AOC. But apparently Anna had no problem doing propaganda for the Imperial NATO military alliance and Madeleine Albright, who defended the 500,000 deaths of 500,000 Iraqi children. Oh man, Jimmy's response is priceless. Because he was there when all this went down, and obviously it led him to leave. When he says, "Yup, my loudest bad faith attackers who come at me because I advocate against war and for Medicare for all are on the take. First, Anna Kasparian, via TYT, takes $20 million from Katzenberg Cash, and now we see she takes money to do pro-war propaganda for NATO. Of course! First of all, Jimmy, you wrong for that. You know Django's on your side on this. You wrong for that. You know Jay. But I mean, it was still funny though. It was still funny. But it's also true. Once again. Now, I think that a lot of people have noticed that Anna has been a little bit more pro-war than usual, especially on issues like Venezuela. You know, she's very, very, well, we don't know what she's very on Assange. She just doesn't say anything about Assange, which obviously, in my opinion, is clearly a foreign policy issue because of everything that Assange exposed. That's why he is being persecuted as we speak. She's trash on Syria. And clearly told everybody to vote for Biden, then shamed them into doing so, tried to. Which you can only shame people into voting for Joe Biden if you are at bare minimum apathetic to the struggles and the persecution of these innocent people overseas due to the American empire. Like that's the bare minimum. The worst is you just don't care. You just don't care. And Anna just doesn't care, like, to be real. She's good. She's fine. And shout out to the Moderate Rebels for exposing this, because I didn't even know this. I knew about the Madeleine Albright interview, and that was her hero. Remember she took a picture with her? She was all chummy and stuff. Yeah, that was her hero. It gets better. We ain't done. We're not done, y'all. That's been a long couple of days. Listen, y'all. This is funny. This thread specifies some of what I'm talking about. Get mad if you want, but all things dark come to light. Like Elizabeth Warren, his slide. Anyway, y'all gonna be hearing that a lot today. Here's the tweet she quoted, y'all. All right, this is the last time I'm gonna get into this because people are criticizing me for attacking Jimmy's personality and not having views or journalistic methodology. Because he's a comedian and he just is exposing the truth. Anyway, but if you don't think this is fucked up, I don't know what to tell you. And effectively, it's just talking about that. It says Dore erroneously said Joe Biden was in blackface with a bunch of rich white people, and basically he misspoke. Now, was Jimmy right for misspeaking? No. Do we make mistakes? No. But do you see a little problem with this? Well, you know what? That's cool. I got you. If you don't see the problem with it, I'm explaining y'all the problem with it. So this is what I responded with. So Jimmy made a mistake, but Biden is literally and actually racist, but you're more mad at the guy who made a mistake stemming from the possibility of the claim being true, given just how racist Biden is. How many times have you talked about Biden's racial jungle comments? When he made the argument on the Senate floor in 1977, they did with his kids going to school in the racial jungle. Oh, that's right. We have literally never, ever heard her bring that up at all whatsoever. People, not at all. The fact that she can bring up, like, I get it. Jimmy Biden made a mistake, but like, also Joe Biden's racist. And also, while both of those things are going on, Anna has actually said almost nothing about Joe Biden's racist past. There people are like, but she criticizes Joe Biden. No. She does some soft criticism about, like, general establishment criticisms about Joe Biden, and then shamed people into voting for them anyway. You wanted to, so like you thought it was a good idea to talk about a mistake that Jimmy made, once again, that Jimmy made, while you have basically been sweeping Joe Biden's, not racism, but segregationism under the rug in order to get people to vote for him for the last, 6 months or 4 or 5 months? Are you kidding me? And that's why I said, I think it might be time for people to just accept that Anna's kind of racist, y'all. She's kind of racist. Racism don't look the way it used to, in case you didn't know. Racism is making dumbass statements like this, forgetting, oh shit, I haven't actually cared about Joe Biden's racism up until this point where I defend it, basically, in order to own Jimmy Dore. Meanwhile, Jimmy never once tried to convince me, the black guy, to vote for the man who was the architect of the 94 crime bill and, tried to just, not want his kids to go to school with me because of how I looked and because of how I was born. Like, Jimmy never tried to convince me to vote for a segregationist. So that's why me and Jimmy's so cool. I don't think Jimmy's racist because Jimmy never asked me to do that. Not at all. But Anna tried to literally shame people into voting for Joe Biden. But she's more mad at Jimmy for making a mistake than Joe Biden's blatant and actual racism. The condescension that Joe Biden exemplified during that leaked audio I couldn't even believe what I was hearing. And I'm sure the TYT covered it, but it's a little too late because you can't pretend you didn't know this was coming when literally, Jimmy, the guy that you're attacking, myself, the Convo Couch, and many others have been telling you this is exactly what was going to happen, and you attacked us for it. Remember? Speaking of bad faith actors, you attacked us for it. You pretended as if Joe Biden was better for black people, knowing that he was horrible. Jonas F., thank you very much for the super chat. That thread from Posadas about the doctored Biden video is so ridiculous. He takes the stand on Jimmy Dore, but he is totally cool with Anna and Ben Dixon. Hypocritical as hell. Love your response to it. Much appreciated, my friend. There's a bunch of hypocrites getting exposed in this movement. I love it. I told you I was coming. Didn't I tell you I was coming? We've been talking about this for, a couple years now. I told you I was coming. I said they're not going to be able to hide behind Bernie forever. Let's check out this next tweet. Look at this clout chasing. I'm unfollowing Jimmy Dore. I've known him for about 25 years from stand-up. He was never offering ridiculous opinions until he adopted his current shtick. I suspect it's all a cynical ploy to make money and attract attention. If he really believes what he spews, it's even worse. Now, does anybody see the irony in this tweet? Does anybody see the irony in this tweet? By the end of it, so first of all, I don't know if y'all know that this is actually Mort from Bob's Burgers. Mort the Mortician. What kind of clown shit are you on that you announce that you're unfollowing someone? Like, you've known him for 25 years. Just text him and say you have a problem and ask him where are you going with this? What are you trying to achieve? But you announce that you are unfollowing Jimmy. Didn't talk about the fact that you've known him for 25 years from stand-up. And didn't say he never offered such ridiculous opinions, which actually isn't true. That's not even true. When Jimmy did political stand-up, he was anti-establishment back then. And then say, I suspect this is a cynical ploy to make money to attract attention. Because you telling the world and getting almost no response, that you're unfollowing Jimmy totally isn't about you begging for attention. It has nothing to do with that, right? The projection coming from these people is like almost too much, because when you're reading this stuff in real time, you would swear it was satire. You would swear, like, bro, is he joking? Like, does he get it? Like, did he read the first sentence and then go back and then read the last sentence and didn't see anything wrong with this exchange? No, he didn't, because these people they've lost it. They have lost their shit. They are literally more mad at Jimmy for begging these people to fight for Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic than they are at the politicians who are. Oh, that's right. Anna's fucking rich. That's right. Andy's fucking rich. You know, I'm starting to see a pattern. Do you think the fact that these people literally don't have to worry about shit, like Anna go to work every day in the middle of this pandemic, Anna get a check cut for her every day in the middle of this pandemic. Do you think that might have a little something to do with the fact that Anna and Andy and all these people, you know, Mr. Bob's Burger or Mr. Mort the mortician over here, you think that might have something to do with the fact that they don't give a shit about your health care and that they don't want Jimmy holding a mirror up to them, proving that they don't give a shit about your health care? And AOC don't want Jimmy holding up a mirror to her, proving she don't really want to fight for fucking healthcare because she good. Remember, y'all just saw her Vanity Fair cover in the middle of a pandemic. She good. Y'all, she all right. Do you think that the fact that these people are good is what's making them not give a shit about if you good? Probably just a little bit. Okay. BK, thank you very much for the super chat. Is anyone surprised? This is the same network that claims they love unions, and as soon as TYT staff want to unionize, they change their tune. Not surprised by that at all. Not at all. Oh, but we got more, people. We got more. So, here's my response to this. Asking politicians to support healthcare during a pandemic is a shtick. Have words stopped meaning things over the last couple of days, or is it just me? Because that's just how I feel. Like, I feel like people are using these words to attack Jimmy, to attack supporters of this referendum, and the words are not matching definitions in the dictionary. I don't know if shtick is in the dictionary, but I think we generally understand what it like. Can you believe Jimmy's on the shtick of getting politicians to hold their colleagues accountable like you elect them to do, to fight for healthcare? I hope he doesn't believe it. And if he does believe it, it's even worse. Bro, how can we take these people seriously? Like I said, y'all, there's like an exponentially higher likelihood that if a tweet about politics came from somebody with a blue check, it is about to be a dumbass tweet. It's like a very, very high likelihood. Because at the end of the day, for a lot of these people, the reason they got the blue checks is because they played the game. And they're going to do whatever they can to keep climbing. Otis B, thank you very much for the super chat. Please check Rockfin tips. I'm going to check those Rockfin tips right now because we about to get into some fun stuff. What we got right here? Otis Buckley. Which platform pays better, YouTube or Rockfin? If I donate 10 on YouTube and 10 on Rockfin, Rockfin every time. Every single time. Go follow your favorite supporters on Rockfin, or your favorite creators on Rockfin, because there's tipping there now. Obviously, we get paid in rate token as well. They get to cash out their money when they want to. They don't have to wait until one time a month. The Rockfin team is they treat us like creators are supposed to be treated. And Jimmy's on Rockfin, in case y'all didn't know. Jimmy is on Rockfin. Richie Medhurst is on Rockfin. The Combo Cards on Rockfin. Graham Edwards on Rockfin. Ron's on Rockfin. Kim Ivers is on Rockfin. Harlan's Media is on Rockfin. Jason Burns is on Rockfin. The Last American Vagabond is on Rockfin. Whitney Webb's on Rockfin. Slow News Day is on Rockfin. Action Force Sean's Crew's on Rockfin. I mean, the list really does go on. Like, we're all on Rockfin, and if they're not there, it's because they were slacking. They got caught slacking on their pimping. Rockfin is taking care of us, and the Ray token, which, if you're a crypto like trader, then you can buy Ray token. The Ray token went from 17 cents whenever I was first on the platform to it's $1.13 right now. So not only are the creators being taken care of, but if you invested in Rockfin, like I was telling people to the beginning, I'm like, y'all should do this. Then if you invested back then you actually had a huge come up over the last couple of months. So definitely Rockfin. So I don't want the majority of my money going to a corporation. Then yes, technically speaking, all of the creators on Rockfin are part owners of Rockfin. It is a creator co-op. So we're all part owners of Rockfin. So yes, Rockfin. Now, ready for the fun stuff? Y'all know the progressive Clayton Bigsby. Ben Dixon. Ben a weirdo. Ben will sell out black people for a pack of Skittles. Okay? In a picture with Joe Biden. He really would. Ben got problems. Ben ain't got no soul. Ben's a bum. Like, the dude is like already boring as it is. He jumped off. It's like people didn't know. Like, and oh, don't worry, y'all. I was just talking to my wife about this. We're going to have a video where all the takes that I had in the last 2 years, where everybody was like attacking me because we were, you know what the MCSC Network's motto is? It's always hard being 6 months ahead on everything. That's like the bare minimum usually. But we're going to put all the takes together. And Ben Dixon is one of those takes where we were right about. Because people forgot about Ben. Because he was Russiagating, he was anti-Assange, he was pro-Hillary, attacking anyone who was criticizing Hillary. Like, people forgot because he hid out in the corner somewhere and was actually kissing Elizabeth Warren's ass, which is why he was allowed on MSNBC all the time. And then he realized, that Warren train is about to fall off a cliff. Let me jump on the Bernie trains. And then he put out that video, Bernie bruh, and got all the black people who like Bernie to come in the video. And he went viral from it. And then people within the movement, most people didn't realize because nobody knew who Ben was. Ben was unimportant, bro. I ain't never seen a person who thinks he is that important. And yet no one really knew who he was until after that video, because of course, black men were very valuable to the Bernie movement back then. And any black man who had any type of clout would come out and support Bernie uncritically, then you get clout instantaneously. Which is why funny when people call me a grifter. Trust me, if I wanted to grift, I know how to grift. It's not very difficult, and I'll be much better at Ben Dixon than others at doing it. So he had this to say about Jimmy. Always remember that Jimmy Dore trended on Twitter for attacking progressives, not getting them elected. Except, here's the thing, did the AOC's first major interview, not first interview, but definitely the first major one. Funny enough, my little homie Michelangelo here in Miami was like one of her very, very, very first interviews. It's kind of funny. But that's Jimmy, like her going on Jimmy's show was a big deal because like no one knew who she was. This is before that viral video. No one knew who she was. Ben Dixon, no one knew who Ben Dixon was, so even if she went on his show, nobody would care. So there's that. Jimmy interviews progressive Democrats, progressive independents, progressive Green Party people, goes to events. Well, before COVID, would go to events. Like, Jimmy has done infinitely more. But I know because I be there a lot of the times with other people who are actually working on the ground and trying to do whatever they can with their platforms to fight for people, not politicians. Always. So, hold up. See, there's always a little bit of truth. They always sprinkle a little bit of truth in these little lies they tell. Always remember, Jimmy Dore trended on Twitter. Oh, that's what you upset about. That's where it should stop. Always remember Jimmy Dore trended on Twitter, and I never could. Always remember Jimmy Dore trended on Twitter for telling the truth about the establishment that I never would. Always remember Jimmy Dore trended on Twitter, and after this election, after I uncritically kissed Joe Biden's ass and attacked black people for not voting for Joe Biden, and then immediately Joe Biden swerved Black Lives Matter, that I will be a hack and Jimmy trending #1 on Twitter. That's what he really upset about, y'all. See, but once again, y'all, this isn't really new for Ben Dixon, and we gonna get into that. So, hold on, I'm not gonna do that one first. Let me get. I was about to get ahead of myself, y'all. So here was, look, see, folks, Jimmy does is a washed up, I'm assuming I got it correct. Jimmy is a washed up comedian cashing in on YouTube. I mean, I'm cashing on YouTube too, but I'm not doing it attacking progressive politicians and insisting, you know, the whole excuse, right? Yeah, except for like you're not progressive. Like you cash in by selling out progressives while pretending you're progressive. So my response to him was, Ben Dixon is literally a washed up pastor who immediately became a washed up commentator who no one cared about until TYT let him ride their coattails. This man is more concerned with crying about Jimmy using his platform for economic justice than holding politicians accountable. I think that's a pretty fair assessment, right? Pretty fair assessment. Right? I think so. How do I know? Well, let's look at some more Ben Dixon takes. I uploaded a new video. Julian Assange and WikiLeaks asked for favors of Trump. Asked favors of Trump. Oh, hold up. Did y'all say Ben Dixon was a journalist? Am I getting that right? A journalist? Sure that this issue totally is irrelevant to him. Totally unimportant. Has no implications on his career. Hate to tell you guys, but Assange was only working for Assange. Sorry, but Julian Assange irks me. Not the leaks, those are needed, but Assange. What the fuck? What does that even mean? Oh, so hold up. So you don't like Assange because of what exactly? I'm confused. So did you have a problem with Assange when he was exposing George W. Bush, and then Obama and the Democrats benefited from that? Like, did you have a problem with Assange when that happened? Like, what did yes, no, maybe so. Like, did you have a problem with Assange when like outlets like CNN and others were talking about he deserves a damn Nobel Peace Prize or a Pulitzer Prize? Remember that? No. So you only have a problem with Assange because the information that he happened to reveal this time, at least in 2016, was about the Democrats. Oh, the coonery. Oh, it gets better, people. Shout out to Lucas. One of our researchers went back digging because y'all know Ben got me blocked. Ben, you know, he liked to talk about this and wanted to mention my name, but he got me blocked. See, I'm not a punk ass. So I don't block people. I debate people. I block some bots. You know, I'm all about blocking a bot that got 200 tweets and, you know, 150 of them is just replying to me and Fiorella Imposter. I have a problem with that. But I don't block blue checks and other popular Twitter accounts. Why would I? I'm not engaging in bad faith and I know what the hell I'm talking about and I'm honest. So I don't have anything to run from. Ben didn't like the fact that I was calling his ass out. And I was like, okay, then just debate me. Block! Block! Sandbagging is a euphemism. Stick to the facts. Assange is tweeting about Mueller and his role in going after him. No, Assange is using his platform to undermine the results of the investigation before it comes out. Wow. It's very interesting to see Benjamin Dixon take the side of Donald Trump's administration regarding Julian Assange, isn't it? Because effectively, that's really why Assange is being tortured right now. Because he exposed the establishment and he undermined the establishment. That's always the root about what everybody hates about Assange. That's why the neoconservative establishment hates Assange. That's why the neoliberal establishment hates Assange. And of course, at the end of the day, Benjamin Dixon's going to do whatever benefits the establishment because that's the coattails he's trying to ride. Let's not talk about everything that was exposed. I mean, let's not talk about the fact that Julian Assange couldn't even go to Russia because he exposed their government too. But you know, Ben was a Russiagator. Ben loves some Russiagate. Otis Buckley, thank you very much for the tip. We need unity among our community and Black progressive as there aren't that many black progressives. At least not. You're right. There are not a lot of us with a platform, with especially black women. And y'all, as you all know, like we try very hard on this network to bring on as many black voices as possible. In fact, the Convo Couch, from all indication, have literally had the most black people on their channel doing interviewing black candidates that no one else would interview, because like they were running for city council or like, you know, commissioner, the jobs that matter, but like that isn't like a sexy interview for the big channels, especially not the white Neoprogressives. And these people were actually anti-establishment. And so, you know, we try very hard on this network to push unity and to get black voices out here that have been overlooked. And, you know, personally, I've experienced being overlooked merely because I'm saying the same thing fuck that. I'm right more than almost literally anyone else because of my experiences within politics. I actually have more political experience, like actually on the ground, strategizing, policy drafting, like actual congressional policy, like worked in health insurance, like actually started the largest Bernie Sanders organization in the country. And yet, when people want to ask a question that actually involves strategy or something to that extent, they bring on some random Twitter person who literally has done nothing but yell on Twitter and had a little spicy take and can't actually give any experiential advice on how we move forward, or use that experience to tell people, hey, look over here, you're being played. Right? Like, and this is becoming, now people are actually starting to see it. And like other black progressives, because we've actually had to go find each other. It's weird. We had to go find each other on Twitter. Like, yo, I didn't know there was other black progressives on Twitter. Because we get like, we're not the ones who get uplifted. The only time, like I said, there's only a couple that get uplifted. And that's generally the people who uncritically were on Bernie's team. You weren't allowed to be on nobody else's team because otherwise you're not useful to the progressive movement if you're black and not backing our favorite white guy, which is why you see a lot of what is bread 2 made up of? Like the vouchers and the ContraPoints and you know the bread tubers. What is that made up of again? Bunch of white guys and white women, right? And a lot of them are racist. Like Vouch is a racist. Y'all think that that's not a coincidence? Stupid famous too. Racist as hell. It's because there's a little bit more racism on the progressive movement that nobody wants to talk about. That's a different conversation for a different day. But I really appreciate that. Oh, let me finish reading the rest of that. The one brother named Black may have said something negative about you in the past. I didn't see it. But I'm hopeful that we can get beyond that for the greater good. He would not agree with you on everything I've done. Oh, he would not agree with everything I've done either, as I was 100% Tulsi. Hopefully, he will also be looking to the future. If you're talking about Tim Black, he knows my phone number. He can call me for an apology. He can call me to apologize whenever he wants to. Because you know me, I don't like when people say, "Oh man, you're attacking the left. We're eating our own." No. There's a difference between leftists, opportunists, and like actual leftists. And so I'm done playing that game. You know, and I appreciate the sentiment. I do agree with you overall. That's why I believe in uplifting the actual progressives who are engaging in good faith, where we know it's not about the bottom line, because the bottom line was what affected your decision to engage in bad faith smears to begin with. Yeah, you can make up now, but eventually it'll come back full circle and you do the same thing again. We've seen it over and over again. But I do agree with you overall. Charlie Marks, thank you very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. We got another one? Okay. Tanner Maddox, thank you very much for the super chat. Ploy for money used against people who get demonetized. Thank you. You ploy for money. Grifter. Used against people who get demonetized. Used against the people who get suppressed. Used against the people who get blocked from any type of mainstream media engagement. Used against the people who go against the grain, knowing it will be detrimental to their brand. Because the left isn't like the right. Conservative populists actually get uplifted by almost all conservatives, which is not the left. Leftist populists, good faith actors. Oh, no. That's a one way to Broketown. One way ticket to Broketown. One-way ticket. The fact that Jimmy has managed to find success by being so anti-establishment is actually an inspiration to many progressives, so they actually think they have a lane. Before, it felt almost impossible to be honest in this thing that we do and actually become successful because of how the YouTube algorithms treat us. But Jimmy has just provided inspiration just by being him. But it's funny when people call him a grifter, like people don't know what he had to go through to get out of TYT. The moment that he realized, like, okay, no, this is irreconcilable. These people are not, they're not like, it's not a disagreement issue. This is, oh no, y'all are sinister. The money has gotten to your head. You're not acting in good faith. So I got to go. And he took a hit for that, temporarily at least. What a grifter, right? Because it was Jimmy who took the $20 million from Jeffrey Katzenberg, one of the Democratic Party's top donors. It was him, actually, not TYT. Obama the disappointer. Thank you very much for the super chat. All right, let's continue. Ben Dixon once again. People who insist on getting your attention with their pity party for Caitlin Johnstone and Julian Assange. I thought about engaging them, but it's not worth it. The pity party of the journalists being tortured for exposing the establishment. Yeah, we gonna throw a pity party for him. Yes, absolutely. You're a moron if you don't feel pitiful for what's taking place with you. You know, after that false alarm that Assange was going to pardon Trump today, after that false alarm, Julian Assange's wife said, "I'm shaking at the possibility of my kids being able to see their father by Christmas time." Can you imagine? Like Assange is going, like Assange is strong. He knew what the cost would be of doing real journalism. It could be of doing real journalism, but not just the cost for Assange, but like your wife and your kids are waiting for somehow for you to defeat the entire empire that's trying to kill you. That is what her hopes are riding on, to the point where one tweet gave her a slither of hope because she knows exactly what's about to happen to him under a Joe Biden administration. He's a dead man. He's gone. It's like we already talked about this on this action. We talked about this on the Action for Assange vigil. He's gone. We know that Biden was one of the architects of the Iraq War and one of the architects of the Afghanistan War. We know that Biden is a neocon. He is Bolton. He is Mattis. He is Pompeo. He is just as mad at and he is a Democrat on top of that. He is just as mad at Julian Assange as anyone who worked under George W. Bush. And you're like, trying to get our attention with a pity party for Julian Assange? Are you kidding me? Bro, you're evil. You're an evil sociopathic human being. If I ever saw tweets like this coming from like my father or my wife or my family member, I would literally never talk to you again, because this is evil. That you would sell if you would sell the First Amendment out for political clout, bro, you would sell anything out. It's not like he don't know better, y'all. He does know better. But he expressed to one of our other independent progressive colleagues that he absolutely wants to work for the establishment. That's his whole goal. He said that in 2016 at the protests out there in Philly, like at dinner, he straight up said that he wants to be establishment. He said it. And the way he carries himself, the way he goes about his business, it's very obvious. Christopher Dobby, thank you very much for the super chat. Wasn't it the Dems that asked Donald Trump to jail Assange? Probably. Hell, Hillary Clinton said like she just wanted to drone strike him. So like, I'm not sure they wanted him in jail. I think they wanted him gone. Hold on, there was another tweet that I wanted to show y'all. This is just how I felt generally about the whole situation thus far. If you're finally getting on board with holding Dems accountable in some meaningful way because you saw Jimmy trending #1 and you wanted to jump on the bandwagon, that's cool. But if you're someone who told us to concede power and vote for Biden without accountability for his 47 years of unconscionable corruption, please stop preaching. This ain't your part of the show. This ain't your part of the show, bro. DJ Elf, appreciate you. Thank you very much for the super chat. Jimmy isn't saying anything new. AOC's waffling, her convenient cowardice, isn't new. It isn't new. And let me go ahead and tell y'all why people didn't see it and why people are seeing it now. And I was actually surprised at how many people agree with this tweet. Hold up. Where'd it go? There we go. This is fun. This is gonna be a fun one. Cause I know a lot of my MCSE fans gonna feel this harder than anybody else. You know, no offense to everybody else, but they just gonna feel it. They gonna feel this. Y'all ready? Now that people can't use Tulsi as an excuse to deflect cause she's out, Bernie as an excuse to forgive because he lost, and Trump as an excuse to gaslight because he got beat, people can finally see what some of us been saying about AOC for a year and a half. Can I repeat that one time for the one time, y'all? Now that people can't use Tulsi as an excuse to deflect because she's out, Bernie as an excuse to forgive because he lost, and Trump as an excuse to gaslight because he got beat, people can finally see what some of us have been saying about AOC for a year and a half. For all of my MCSC network veterans, what have we been saying about AOC? How much heat do we take for it? We said, are y'all not worried that the Green New Deal doesn't ban fracking and she keeps trying to pretend like she's for banning fracking? No, it's just because you like Tulsi. That's why you're complaining. So y'all not worried that AOC has been propping up Elizabeth Warren for the last 10 months before she finally used the PR opportunity to endorse Bernie Sanders? Like, she propped up his biggest threat, not because Elizabeth Warren, his slide, could beat him, but because she could take the most votes away from him because she kept calling him herself Bernie, basically, without actually doing anything. Literally changing her positions on everything the entire time. Look, she kept changing positions. No, it's because you're just mad that Tulsi's at 2%. You don't want to get out Trump. AOC tweets about Trump. Now that they can't use these people, and I told y'all, didn't I tell you? I said, guess what, y'all? I like, it was upsetting because it is sad that a real progressive populist fighting for us didn't stick up. You know, obviously only Tulsi really was the only one who supported legitimate election integrity legislation in the primary. But like, other than her, the ones with the largest platforms didn't stick up for us and defend and fight for the right for our vote to be counted. And I did say that there's going to be one positive that comes out of this. I said, don't worry, y'all, because you know now they can't use these people's names and personalities and brands to deflect any longer. Now it's going to be about policy. And when it comes to policy, the real ones are going to be saying the same thing, because that was our beef with AOC and others this entire time. It was political and ideological inconsistency. They would say one thing on Twitter and then, I'm going to defer to the caucus on Venezuela. Well, Nancy Pelosi is actually my mama bear. You know, we love her. Well, Tulsi Gabbard is propping up Project Veritas and smearing Ilhan Omar. No. Once again, Tulsi was actually the one who came out and defended Ilhan Omar against a bunch of smears, while AOC went and disappeared for 2 days as Ilhan Omar came under racist and xenophobic attacks from both the Democrats and Republicans regarding her comments about AIPAC. That was Tulsi who actually did a video defending her. AOC was gone. We were literally looking for her. We were like, hold up, y'all. She isn't here. Let's Warren slide into the next room. Right foot up, his slide. She won't dare either. We looked for 2 days for AOC, couldn't find her to defend her friend, Ilhan. But Lord knows, every single time Tulsi opens her mouth, AOC is, hey, fuck you too, Tulsi. I fucking hate you too. Every time. And I told people back then, once again, and this was before I actually had endorsed Tulsi. I was like, I feel like I shouldn't have to be the one to say this, but y'all do know that AOC's only attacking Tulsi because she wants to run for president and she wants to be the first woman president. She wants to be the first woman of color. She wants to be the youngest. And Tulsi is the main person at that point standing in her way of being all of that. Because, I mean, like, other than all the obvious demographic qualifications, there's the simple fact that Tulsi's actually honest. And that's a little bit inconvenient for somebody like AOC, who is inherently dishonest. Why didn't, like, y'all have never noticed that AOC never came to the defense of Nina during the primaries after she was getting smeared? Like, literally was called a misfit black woman by Dr. Jason Johnson. AOC was nowhere to be found. And they were standing in the room at the same time a lot of the times. And nothing. Because who's the next biggest threat for AOC to be the first women president, first woman of color? Oh, that's right, Nina. Oh, now it starts to make sense. That's why. See, Ilhan Omar can't run for president. I think that Rashida Tlaib could run. But I think that I think that she was born in Palestine. Don't quote me on that. But so she's not a threat. But even still, she's obviously nowhere near, because Rashida Tlaib has fought the establishment and challenged the establishment more than AOC has, unquestionably, even though I have my problems with her as well. So, but she's not the threat that Tulsi or Nina would be. Ayanna Pressley is definitely not a threat to AOC's position. But the ones who have been, she's been relatively silent on defending, but she sure is loud when it comes to defending herself. So like I said, it's just funny when now people are acknowledging the same things we have been saying for a year and a half. This isn't new. Like I said, we're going to do a video about all the shit we were right about. The MCSC has been right about a lot. And everybody used every excuse. But it was really about, like, we can't let them be right and expose our grift. And we told y'all that back then. Shout out to the people who saw through the BS. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and share this video. Make sure y'all subscribe. We not done though, y'all. We got a little bit more to go. A little bit more to go. Where my man's Justin at? Where my man's Justin? Justin Jackson, my guy. If AOC and the squad don't do what Jimmy Dore has suggested and withhold their vote for Pelosi for speakership unless Medicare for All gets brought to the floor for a vote, they will be revealing themselves. Power concedes nothing without a demand. And then my response to Justin was, why do professional football players give more of a fuck about our healthcare than the progressive Congress people who raise money and tell you they'll pass it if you vote for them, only to not even try to exert pressure on their colleagues? What's the excuse? And what makes this look even worse is that Justin has been more than fair to AOC. Now, Justin has also been very ideologically consistent. Like, for those of you who don't know, Justin, we actually was Justin's first interview, first political interview. when man had like 4,000 followers, and like, well, I think it was sophomore year on the Chargers. Like, and like just from that interview, like I'm like, bro, I mean, once again, like I said in a tweet earlier, I'm like, yo, his knowledge about politics and his just the way that he is dedicated to all these issues and being consistent, like while being honest, it was unbelievable, honestly. And then of course on Jimmy Dore's show, he discussed how his mother unfortunately passed away of breast cancer, which is a story he had not shared before. And that is one of the reasons that he is so dead ass serious about, you know, because like when you're a football player, you would think like, oh man, you have healthcare, you're good. Why are you so passionate about this? I feel like Justin has more followers from politics than he does as one of the top running backs on the LA Chargers. But that's because the life that he wish he could have saved is unfortunately not here anymore. And that's how a lot of people feel. My grandmother died of breast cancer before my mom even hit puberty. I never got to meet my grandmother. And that ripple effect on the life of my family is something we still feel to this day. The fact that we have a professional football player that has to tell AOC, bro, just do your job. What are you there for then? Basically, I'm not even going to read AOC's tweets because honestly, that's a separate conversation for a separate video. If I read it right now, I'm gonna start yelling. I'm gonna wild out. I'm not trying to do that right now. But you got football players. Just stand up. And she responded to Justin Jackson regarding Jimmy Dore in his referendum. But AOC wouldn't respond to Jimmy Dore. And the reason, by the way, for that is because Jimmy is actually blacklisted in DC. So how do I know this? Well, one of my good friends did have a DC consultant who actually used to ask her for advice because she seemed to be more plugged into the on-the-ground organizational side of politics and progressive politics than like any other business person that he knew. And so he was saying that the Beltway is very, very aware of Jimmy Dore. They watch him, and they're not allowed to obviously like. And this is before like he was on Iran TV like randomly. They didn't know, like he just. You know, I don't know if y'all saw that video a while back, maybe a couple of years ago. Iran TV was like literally just showing a video of Jimmy Dore in an airport. But this is before that. Like they've known about Jimmy really since that. I think it was ABC did that article or CNN did the article about him trying to smear him, saying that like YouTube stockholders had a problem with him and they call him the Alex Jones of the left. All that good. That's where that smear comes from. So like. They talked about that, and then she of course talked to me about it like, yo, Jimmy's blacklisted. They do watch him in DC. They watch him to figure out how to combat narratives and all that good stuff. But there's a reason that only Ro Khanna is allowed to go on. And even when Ro Khanna goes on, what does he do? He defends Nancy Pelosi. I'll give him credit for at least going on there. Jimmy's always very polite, although critical of him. But like, that's because Ro Khanna is gonna go up there and cape while pretending to be progressive. Like, or at least pretending to have courage in his convictions regarding progressive policies. But he ain't about to do nothing. You know that? Come on, bro. But that's why AOC is not allowed to come on. That's why Bernie's not allowed to go back on Jimmy's show. That's why all of these people not only don't want to be held accountable, but if you get held accountable on Jimmy's show, well then everybody literally in the world finds out that you ain't shit. Yet, Justin Jackson will be willing to go on and defend himself. People like Tulsi Gabbard, Nina Turner, and others are willing to go on and defend themselves. Even people who may disagree with Jimmy in good faith, but they might have a disagreement, but they're still we're on the same page. Let's figure out how to arrive to the same conclusion together. If we disagree by the end of it, cool. But it isn't like Jimmy and them are attacking each other. It's just we just have different approaches. But the people who are terrified because they don't want their entire being getting exposed. They don't want their brand and their grift to be put on Front Street in front of the entire world. That is one show that you don't want to get exposed on, because when that clip goes viral, there is no return. And AOC is finding that out right now. That's what's happening. So they got to avoid her. But that's a damn shame, bro. That is a damn shame that AOC has to get told what to do by a football player who actually really liked her. And instead of addressing Jimmy, she goes into justice, which is, once again, a different video for a different, we're going to knock that out tomorrow. But if I do it right now, y'all, trust me, I'm going to be really loud. And I know y'all got kids that are asleep. It's reading her comments were infuriating. She was making excuses like, if we try to exert pressure on Nancy Pelosi and don't vote for her to get Medicare for all, then we won't have the speakership and we won't get Medicare for all. So let's just not do anything in order to get Medicare for all, because not doing anything is actually the only way for us to get Medicare for all. Not exerting pressure and using this mandate and these 9 million Twitter followers and this Vanity Fair cover and all this fake ass clout that I pretend I got. Like, I'm like, come on, bro. Like, don't you see me selling t-shirts? You ain't see my sweaters? You ain't see my courage. Be courageous, AOC. Yeah, you don't remember? Like, I'm selling t-shirts. What else you want from me? You don't see my Medicare for all mask? I'm wearing the Medicare for all mask. That takes a lot of courage. Why are you asking so much of me? That's the funny part. People say, why are you asking so much of progressive politicians? Well, motherfucker, you ain't had no problem asking for $18 million to get reelected. I think that we have the right to ask for basic services like healthcare. You ain't had no problem talking about how progressive you were going to be when you got reelected. You ain't had no problem talking about how much progress we were going to see. No. We're voting for Joe Biden now. We're campaigning for Joe Biden now. We're ignoring the fact that he's racist. We're ignoring the fact that he's a sex pest. We're ignoring the fact that he's a war minded. We're ignoring the fact that he's corrupt. We're ignoring the fact that he said that nothing will fundamentally change. We're ignoring all of that because when Joe Biden wins, that's when we're actually going to be able to exert our pressure on him. Except he won. So now actually we can't because we don't have the votes. Okay. So do y'all think when the civil rights amendments were passed and we desegregated the country, do y'all think it was because it was the most popular position in the country, even though like Medicare for all is actually a popular position? But do y'all think it's because of that? Or do you think it was because some very loud people who were very principled put pressure on Congress, who were then afraid that that pressure could result in bad publicity? So they were like, well, this kind of seems like a no-brainer. Let's go ahead and get this done, even though most of us kind of don't like black people all that much. And even a lot of our constituents kind of don't like black people. But there's enough people who read the newspaper who we need to convince we like everybody, or else we might lose our jobs. That's how unpopular policies get passed. Every policy that hurts the elite is unpopular. You ever noticed that? Remember how unpopular marijuana was for a long, long time until this little thing called science was brought into the picture? And people were like, hold up. Real quick. If I smoke this and I can smoke as much as I want to and feel good all the time and never die, why the fuck I need to keep taking these pills for? I seen the commercials. They keep telling me I'm gonna get cancer every time I take a pill. Y'all think they lying to us? Like, remember that? Everybody hated it. Was the evil. And then people were like, hold up, that's dumb, basically. So once again, we are at this crossroads where once again, is that evil or is that dumb to think that's evil or undoable or unpopular? When you have a policy that literally like 70% of Fox viewers support, like Fox News viewers support Medicare for all. And you're like, man, we can't get that passed, bro. We can't get that passed. Why? Because we don't have enough votes. Hold up, double back. Y'all supposedly got 90 something people in the progressive caucus. Just off that. So you're telling me 93 people can't, 93 progressives can't persuade just like 60 or 70 more Democrats, especially knowing that many Republicans would be forced to vote for that as well because we're in the middle of a pandemic. You know what wasn't popular? $4 trillion to corporations while denying UBI to the American people. You know who still voted for it? AOC. You know who knew about that policy being in the works weeks before it was actually voted on? AOC. You know what policy was also popular? UBI. That's a different conversation for a different day. She didn't want to support it when it was first introduced. Because you know the first one to introduce UBI was? It was Tulsi. She introduced it 2 weeks before we even went into quarantine, predicting that everything would come to pass. And AOC had nothing to say because of who introduced it. Then by the time she finally jumped on board, because guess who Mitt Romney got? The $1,200 idea came from Tulsi. Mitt Romney got that inspired by Tulsi. Facts. Go look. I got the videos. Don't worry about it. We're going to be talking about all this. Don't worry. We're going to do the video. But Mitt Romney got that idea from Tulsi, and unfortunately that got turned into one. And then, so he got that idea from Tulsi. You know what AOC gave credit to? She said, Mitt Romney, thank you for such inspirational leadership. What? Oh man, you'll praise a Republican over somebody else's UBI. And you will scream at Medicare for all from the rooftops. But when it's time to have political courage, you are nowhere to be found. Once again, Maya Angelou said, for a reason, and rightfully so, that courage is the most important virtue, because without courage, you are unable to practice consistently any other virtue. And especially in the most meaningful moments. AOC is a political coward. People who are defending her are exposing themselves. What is AOC about? Her brand. What is Anna about? What do you think? Her brand. What is Ben Dixon about? His brand. But even the people who are smart enough, like even Sam Cedar was like, actually, this is a pretty good idea. I can't even lie. He even figured it out. Even Jank was like, shit, man. Look, you know, I mean, it's kind of a good idea, man. I'm not about to be caught on this firestorm. Jank was even, because don't get it twisted. Sam Cedar and Jank both. We know what time it is with them. We do. But like, even they were smart enough to protect their brand by defending I know this once again, I feel like this is weird saying this. They were smart enough to protect their brand by advocating for politicians to vote for Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic. I don't know why that's smart or brave, why we have to give credit for that. But apparently we do. Because Anna is living in a fucking weird ass alternative reality where we actually should be defending politicians and attacking the people who are trying to literally use their platform to give people health care. Y'all, call me crazy, but I think that Anna don't really have her priorities straight. I don't know. Maybe I'm, I don't know. But I feel like she might have her priorities a little mixed up. Sports Droppings, thank you very much for the super chat. Ben Dixon is what we on the West Coast call a buster. Hell yeah, Ben Dixon, you buster. Y'all say it like that. That's how you know it's West Coast. Can't be a buster. Can't be buster. If it's buster, then it's like, it's New York. But you gotta be a buster. You need to pronounce that whole E and R together. And you are absolutely correct. He is a buster. So, oh, you want to know what a neoprogressive means? So a neoprogressive is a progressive who rhetorically says all of the right things, generally people who attach themselves to Bernie Sanders' brand, but when the push comes to shove, they either lack courage of their convictions when it comes to introducing policies, they eventually bend over and back the establishment. And don't forget, this is usually the number one quality. They don't believe in election integrity. They actually legitimize these corrupt elections and pretend like we don't know these voting machines can be hacked. Because think about it. If a progressive actually got in power, well then the whole be angry at the other side grift kind of goes away. Now you might have to hold somebody accountable, But also, if you believe in election integrity and you believe in election fraud, well-documented election fraud, if you believe in that, well, then you can't go on pretending as if like Russiagate's real. Because then you might start connecting the dots and figure out like, hold up, what? Are you sure Russiagate's real? Because I'm pretty sure y'all just tried to cheat. And y'all didn't care about rigging and election machines and potentially hacked elections during the primary. Right? Y'all didn't care about it in the primary. Just like we were talking about election integrity the entire primary. No one wanted to listen. We talked about these exact same voting machines during the primary. No one wanted to listen. And then, of course, there's reasonable suspicion that these elections, the general election, isn't legitimate, given all of the irregularities. And it's the part is like people are like, oh, if you say that you like Trump, if you say that you don't like Trump, if you say no, you ain't gotta like him. You don't have to love him. You don't have to hate him. You don't have to like Biden. You don't have to dislike Biden. To admit the main problem with this entire discussion is if Trump did win and Biden did cheat, we would literally never know because there is zero transparency. And the Neoprogressives like that. They love it actually, because the muddying the waters is what Neoprogressives do, because otherwise the grift can't go on. So think of people like David Dore, Anna Kasparian, Jank, Sam Cedar, those fake ass socialists on Twitch, Hassan, all these people. These bourgeoisie progressives who will look you dead in your face and say, don't hold your politicians accountable after you've uplifted them and edified them thinking that they were going to fight for you. They told you to shut, like Anna's literally telling y'all to shut the hell up and stop demanding more for your vote and your money. Russia Gator. Ocasio is a studio gangster. If even. If even. I appreciate, I sincerely mean this, the people who actually did take the time to like realize finally, okay, there's clearly something wrong here. There's something up. And we need this since like when if it's literally, if the time to hold your politicians accountable for Medicare for all isn't during a pandemic, then motherfucker, when is the time? Please tell us. When you got the House, when you got the executive branch, when most Republicans also support the policy, when is the time? Because all of those things are happening right now. AOC don't want to fight for shit. She don't want to fight for shit. And somebody tweeted something out brilliant earlier. That, like, we're asking y'all to withhold your vote, like, as a bare minimum. But also, double the fuck back. Why the fuck are y'all voting for Nancy Pelosi to begin with? Why are y'all voting for Nancy Pelosi to begin with? Why is a progressive not being encouraged to run against Nancy Pelosi to begin with? That's the other question that AOC neglected to engage and enlighten us on. There shouldn't even have to be a debate about withholding. The only reason Jimmy could even put forth the idea that that progressives should withhold their vote to get Medicare for all is because these progressives were so feckless and ideologically inconsistent that they were going to vote for Nancy Pelosi to begin with. If y'all weren't going to vote for Nancy Pelosi, Jimmy Dore couldn't even come at y'all about not voting for Nancy Pelosi. Am I right or am I wrong? Is we right? Is we right? We right. We're right. Of course we're right. It's true. Literally, y'all already like you're waffling. You're waffling. Is the only reason Jimmy Dore can even offer this referendum in any meaningful way, because he knows, of course, they're planning on voting for Nancy Pelosi. Let me go ahead and put this out. Of course. If y'all weren't going to vote for Nancy Pelosi, then he wouldn't be able to do this. And there would be no debate. And I want to be clear, like Anna Kasparian and Ben Dixon, like what they're actually doing is telling you all, well, actually, we're defending Nancy Pelosi. Because like, yeah, they're defending the AOC because of the brand. But what they're actually saying is, they haven't mentioned anything about the rest of the progressive voting for Pelosi. Why is there no one else running for speaker? Why would an AOC with that mandate that she has run for speaker? Oh, well, Nancy doesn't want me to. Well, the Dems don't want me to. Well, if every decision you're making is because Nancy Pelosi told you to, and then the Democrats told you to, and then Joe Biden told you to, how are you anti-establishment again? And why should we give a fuck about your existence in Congress? Because the whole point of you being in Congress is to stand up to Nancy Pelosi and to stand up to the Democrats and to stand up to Joe Biden. If you're not going to do 1, 2, and 3, then out the door with thee. Peace. Fuck you. We don't need you. What the hell? Motherfucker, I can make cute ass tweets for Twitter to go viral. I mean, shit, Twitter be suppressing me and shit, but like, it's cool, whatever. Like, bruh, do you know, before we go, y'all, do y'all know what AOC tweeted out the other day about Pfizer? The founder of Pfizer was an immigrant. That was her tweet to defend a pharmaceutical company, y'all. As the world is critiquing Pfizer, as we're seeing all this information come out about just how the fact they just did not take the correct steps to do this vaccine. AOC uses that massive audience she has to defend Pfizer based off of what? Nothing. Y'all know something was funny? Y'all know Hitler was an immigrant to Germany. Did y'all know that? The fuck is wrong with this person? And why did anyone? Once again, this should have been blatantly obvious to anyone who's paying attention. But I get it. Like, we're desperate. The world is desperate. The country is desperate. And people want to believe that AOC is an ally because, well, and this is the most heartbreaking part. Well, if she's playing us, then like we got played again. You got Bernie parroting CIA talking points. Andrew Yang being Andrew Yang doing whatever. Marianne Williamson's having a goddamn nervous breakdown somewhere. Every day she thinks the Holocaust is coming back. It's the wildest thing I ever seen. You got obviously Joe Biden being Joe Biden. Elizabeth Warren doing the Warren slide. His slide. And now you got AOC too? Well, then what, like, was anything about AOC organic? No, it's not looking like it. And now, because of how corrupt and disingenuous and inconsistent AOC has been, and Bernie, and even a few others, it's going to be that much harder for people who are trying to do the right thing to get that power, to earn the trust and respect of the people. It was already hard for us to do that. And people like AOC make it even more difficult. There is no nuance to be had here. I told y'all at the end of the primary, it's either the people or the elite, and you choose a side. You want to discount election integrity? Okay, you chose the elite. You want to not exert pressure on Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats? You chose the elite. You want to fucking shame people into voting for Joe Biden? You chose the elite. I don't care about all the other stuff. I don't care about the little criticisms you make of Joe Biden because you're still leaving out the big shit. You chose the elite. Defending AOC more important than fighting for the people? You chose the elite. When attack Jill Stein, you chose the elite. It's really that simple. It's not a complicated math equation at all. I suck at math. I wouldn't do it if it was complicated. Russiagator, we shouldn't even have to push them to do this. You ain't said nothing to a can of oil. You ain't said nothing slick to a can of oil, my friend, at all. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into that live stream segment of me, Kaz Says Ukasa. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you like this video. If you want to help this show and the entire MCSC network grow, please consider becoming a patron on Patreon, preferably becoming a Rockfin Premium member. Y'all know we have our Rockfin Premium show every single Thursday from 5 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern, except for, I think, hold up, it's Thursday Christmas? I hope Thursday ain't a Christmas. If that's Christmas or my birthday, that ain't happening because I'm not going to be here. I mean, I'm going to be on this planet, but I'm going to be above the planet if you catch my drift. And you can also do one-time donations to Cash App or PayPal, which those are both in all these and more places to follow us and subscribe to us are in the Linktree link in the description below. Once again, we are live right now on Rockfin and on YouTube. So shout out to all my Rockfin people. Appreciate Otis for tipping and Holly Delaney for tipping and everybody who shows us love on Rockfin. Rockfin is the best. Shout out to Rockfin fam. Shout out, of course, to our YouTube fan, and make sure you like and subscribe, all right? Always remember, people, more than anything else, for the love of God, can we all collectively and finally find our balance. Peace. If you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa, don't forget to like the video and smash that subscribe button. Want access to members only live streams, behind the scenes footage, and other premium content? Well, you can endorse us on Rockfin Premium, become a patron through Patreon, or you can sign up for the MCSC Premium membership through YouTube. All the links are in the description below. But hey, more than anything else, always remember,
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Find your balance. Find your balance.
Always remember, more than anything else, find your balance.
peace.